So is heart rate zone training appropriate? Is it accurate? Is even worth paying attention to? And I would say, yes, it is. In the same way that we would track calories or macronutrients, heart rate zones can provide guidance and also provide insight into where we currently are in our training. At the lab, we bring athletes in, we test their VO2, we establish their heart rate training zones. The way that we establish heart rate training zones in someone who is considered trained or an experienced athlete is we actually use a percentage of their VO2 max to determine their heart rate zones. When you're working with devices such as Garmin or even online calculators, what they're often going to use is age-related heart rate data. So it's often going to be 220 minus your age is really common. Well, this isn't really going to be accurate. And so if you're utilizing a fitness tracker and it's giving you heart rate data, it's typically using a calculation that's based on norms. When we do actual direct testing by gas exchange, we are looking at your VO2, how much oxygen you're actually consuming at a specific heart rate. And in our particular situation, we are also measuring CO2. So we can look at substrate utilization during training, and this is going to tell us a lot about where you are in your training zones. And so we can watch your respiratory data and determine where your aerobic threshold, your anaerobic threshold, your AT1, AT2, VT1, VT2 by direct measurement on the day that you come in and do the test. And so this provides much more accurate data. In a 2024 study or review looking at wearables and accuracy, on average, most of your fitness wearables are going to overestimate your VO2 max by about 15%. Now, when we're in the lab and we're looking at your VO2, we are actually looking at your VO2 in real time. And we can actually look to see where that VO2 starts to plateau. And we can get you within a respectable range of your max. And so a lot of people are surprised when their zone 2 heart rate in beats per minute tends to be higher when we test it through VO2 versus when we're just relying on the age calculations to determine where your heart rate zones should be. The other thing that the direct testing allows me to do is it really tells a story about what you've been doing with your training for quite some time. It will tell me your current fitness level, not just based on VO2, but how you actually perform in each zone. Are we being really efficient with fat utilization during our lower aerobic zones? How efficiently are we using carbohydrates in our higher zones? Where is that threshold where you're hitting that point where your carbohydrate utilization is going to start to take off? And what does your recovery look like when we stop the test? How is your heart rate trending? And so there's a lot of things that I can assume about you, even if I know nothing at all about you, about your fitness level, about your nutrition, and about your training program. And this data can actually provide insight on how to move the needle forward for you, rather than just kind of using a guess method where this is what the research says, this is what most training programs do, and so I'm going to just do this and hope that I get better. Checking your VO2, looking at your heart rate zone data is something that we use to simply look at how you're progressing and where you currently are in that moment in time. And so it can be useful data.